three things. One, I want to thank you for coming out on a Saturday. I know the weather is a little risky, but as New Mexicans, we never say no to rain. We tell it to come on in, come on in. Two, I want to talk about a whole different vision for New Mexico. And I will say that I'm watching that begin to take shape on its own, right here in Espanola, and so many in the whole valley of those advocates and families who are fighting for something different, making sure the futures for every single person, every single child here, right, is bright. And I want to talk a little bit about that, but I'm going to do something that I hope two people do not mind. And I know that many of you have heard me say this, but it's so good I'm going to say it again. Family is not just the people you're related to by blood. They're the people that you build a community with, right? And in New Mexico, we're an incredible family. And one of the very first times I came here to announce that I was running for governor and to talk about getting support, to hear about your ideas, to think about your vision, to make sure that we were on the right track, there was an incredible woman. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see her sitting in a booth at the restaurant. And I wasn't sure, someone I haven't seen for decades in my life, but somebody who played a pretty important role in my upbringing. And what I'm worried about is if anyone talks to her, she might tell you more than I want her to about what kind of a child I might have been. And this incredible woman, her name is Tilly Martinez. And she's right over here, and she's from Chimayo. And I want you to know something about Tilly. When I came home from school, Tilly was there. And when my sister was really sick, I know that you know I've talked about my sister and my mom was doing more, Tilly was there. And while she was helping my family, you don't have... There's those relationships about the folks that you ask to help you and that work with you and work for you. But Tilly did something that folks don't do anymore. And that is when my mom really needed more, Tilly let me come and spend time with her in Chimayo and her family. So it was like I had a second family who always was worried about whether I came first, I was getting enough attention, and I talked a little bit about that before I even saw you, Tilly, about what that meant to me that I got to come to Chimayo. Although I've got a bad story about that little goat that you gave me, because I don't want to tell everyone, I think you already know what happened to that goat at my house. Nobody quite explained to me where Cabrito came from. And when I bought, that's a true story, but when I brought that goat home, I thought he was my pet, and my dad was like, lunch. And so that was a hard lesson to learn. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, but it is about how New Mexico families, how we care for each other. And those summers, and knowing that you were at my house, and knowing that you cared for my sister and for my brother, and it's gonna make me cry, and my father and my mother, you made a difference in a family that needed you. And I want to make sure that as governor that I can make the same kind of differences for you, for every single New Mexico family. Is that okay? An incredible woman. And then behind me, where did she go? There she is. I'm looking at you, Marcia. So, I've worked with some incredible people, many of them are right here, who I've seen every time I've come to this community. We've built behavioral health programs and healthcare systems and long-term care programs and senior programs. And the reason I just want you to know about that, and I know that if you look to your right or you look to your left, those are people that you've been working for and with in this community for ages. But I have gotten that opportunity too. And the things that I've learned about supporting the Mexicans and our strength and our resiliency and the opportunity to make things really work, I learned from community members who are right here. Now, Marcia ran any number of senior programs. And I would put her up against any senior program director in the country. And I tell this other story, Marcia. I was in Deming, a woman who wasn't born in New Mexico, wasn't raised here, but she chose us. She chose us. She's been here for 30 years, and I was giving one of these speeches, and she said, she was really anxious to ask a question. She was really anxious, like everybody is right now, really anxious for me to stop talking. And I did, and I called on her, and she told me that her name was Gladys. And she said, we are 50th in education. And I want to know just one thing. Promise me we'll be 49th. And I giggled kind of uncomfortably, just like you did. Because she, more than a year ago, this was about 2 years ago, she didn't believe that we could do much better than that. We should not be coming in last. We should aim for something better. But in her heart, she had lost the ability to believe that we can do more, we can be better, Senator, that there's so much opportunity. And this is why I wanted to introduce you to Ms. Medina. It's because we were #1 in the country for investments in home and community-based services for seniors. And that's a fancy way of saying we supported you at home with dignity, with respect, in your own community. We were transforming those programs in every single corner of the state. And we were leading in that work. This little state, without any money, without the right, if you were from New York, I'm sure the sense that we don't have the talent. We have the talent. We always have the talent. All we need, thank you, you're welcome. All we need is a governor who lets us get the work done in the communities that we need done, a champion, an advocate, someone who understands how to get government to move, knows that it's a real partnership. And if you were to talk to either of us after this rally, we can both tell you that senior services have gone right back to the bottom, like every other crucial service, right? You can't get an ID or a driver's license, cannot. And we know that every other serious institution is broken. Now this is why I'm running, because I know that together we can fix it. And it's not just the challenges that motivate me to run. What really motivates me to run, and this is the third thing, is we are a state of such incredible potential. There isn't anything that we can't get done or do. Nothing. And we have to stop. And it's Gladys is my example. I mean, she holds me up and inspires me every day. We have to eradicate the notions that there are some communities, including this one, where there are some challenges that we can't eradicate. That is not true.
All right.
Right? It's not true. It's a myth that we have been told that some communities can't be fixed, that some communities will always be broken, that some educational systems will be weaker than others, that if you want something and you want a bright future, you got to live in Albuquerque or Santa Fe. That's not true.
All right.
And we're going to make it so when you get me elected governor, because we're going to do a fun environment. Here's the last thing. Are you ready? You're so excited. It's the last thing. I was in a meeting with other governors, and governors are incredibly competitive, right? Their state's the best. I mean, think about that for a minute. We're in an environment where our governor has lost any sense of being an advocate for the state that she represented and was responsible for. I mean, this is actually criminal behavior, right? This is the worst possible thing you could do. And I'm in a meeting, and there are all these governors, and they get up, and their job is to tell this whole group of companies, that's who we're talking to, businesses, partners, organizations, that they're the best. So the governor from Colorado, Hickenlooper, he gets up and he says, I have the fastest growing economy in the country. Boom! Gets off the stage. All right, then the governor from Washington State, Jay Inslee, gets up and he says, I have the best tech economy in the United States. And boom, mic drop. He gets off the stage, and they all have their chests all puffs up, like men do that. All right, and then Bullock gets up there from Montana. Did I lose all the men for voters here? And then, because I want that. You want that pride, right? You want that walk of confidence. I meant it as a compliment. And then Bullock gets up, right? He gets up and he says, we, bar none, have the best outdoor and eco-environmental tourist economy in the country. That's my turn. And they all sort of look at me. What could I possibly say? And I get up there and I say, boys, that's going to be the last time you get up and brag about your states because you're about to get something whooping, right? Because New Mexico is better. We've got bluer skies. We got more sun. We got wind. We got better people. We have the best green chili. I mean, honestly, Colorado, just give it up. Just give that up. All right, there's just no contest. The Rockies start in New Mexico. We don't have just one of those labs. We have two, right? We have two. Twice as many as anybody else. And forget about the outdoor issues. My God, if you're from Montana, those are the tiniest trout I ever saw. Even our fish are bigger. So men, boys, we will drive economic success. We can do any one of those things and we can do it better because we're more diverse, we're stronger and resilient, and we have something that no other state has, us. We love this place. We believe in it and we want to care about it. We want our children and our grandchildren to have a future here, and there's not a single one of us who isn't willing to fight hard to make that happen. And that's why I know we can succeed. Because I have you. All right. If you believe in this vision, and I do, then I don't want to look at no, I'm not looking at you. He keeps lying to me about how many days till the election. How many days is it, Victor?
66 days.
It's either 66 or 67 days, depending upon how those goofy guys behind me count. We're now on this bus tour counting the hours and minutes. And the important thing about that isn't that it's coming too fast or too slow. It wouldn't matter. We can't take one, apparently I have lipstick on my teeth. We can't have 1 minute, 1 day where we aren't paying attention. Not one. In fact, that was true a year ago and it's true now. But here's the situation. This is when we have to act. So here's my question. Are you ready to work all the way through November 6th? Yes? She's running, she's working. Tina needs you. Now I'm looking around and I know many of you are already volunteering and walking and calling. She wants more. I want more. We need more. We need walkers and callers. And if you can't do that, I need you to talk about this election. I need you to talk about the Democrats. It's an incredible slate up and down the ticket. I need you to do it at church, probably not during, church, but right after. And I need you to do it at the grocery store. And I need you to do it when you pick up your kids from daycare or your grandkids from school. I need you to do it when you're checking in at your doctor's office. Everywhere you go, you have to ask every single person. I've been thrown out of every single gas station in New Mexico because I asked every person there, are you ready for this election? Can I get you to vote for us? This is what we stand for. What's important to you? And if you do that, and you drive voters to vote, we unequivocally will win this election. Unequivocally. And the last bid, and then I'm going to walk around and hear your ideas and shake your hands and thank you. These races are won. I'm not going to say the other part. These races are won in the north.
That's right.
This is where it all happens. New envision a future for our families that is entirely about jobs, from renewable energy to movies and cybersecurity, about restoring a healthcare system that absolutely includes behavioral health. This is what we can do. So let's get it done, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it done.
Thank you, Michelle. Viva, Michelle. Okay, I was just told to announce that